Urdu.
Urdu, or more precisely Modern Standard Urdu, is a standardized register of the Hindustani language. Urdu is historically associated with the Muslims of the region of Hindustan. It is the national language and lingua franca of Pakistan, and an official language of 6 Indian states and one of the 22 scheduled languages in the Constitution of India. Apart from specialized vocabulary, Urdu is mutually intelligible with Standard Hindi, which is associated with the Hindu community. Since the end of the Mughal period in the 19th century, varieties of Hindustani have been the lingua franca for much of South Asia. Urdu and Hindi are nearly identical in basic structure and grammar, and at a colloquial level also in vocabulary and phonology. If considered the same language, the population of Hindi-Urdu speakers is the 4th largest of the languages of the world, after Mandarin Chinese, English and Spanish.
Origin of Urdu.
The word Urdu is derived from the same Turkic word ordu, army, that is given English horde. From the establishment of the Delhi Sultanate and the Mughal Empire until the British Raj, Hindustani, written in the Urdu script, was the language of both Hindus and Muslims. The language was variously known as Hindi, Hindavi and Dehlavi. The communal nature of the language lasted until it replaced Persian as the official language in 1837 and was made co-official, along with English. This triggered a Hindu backlash in northwestern India, which argued that the language should be written in the native Devanagari script. Thus a new literary register, called Hindi, replaced traditional Hindustani as the official language of the Hor in 1881, establishing a sectarian divide of Urdu for Muslims and Hindi for Hindus, a divide that was formalized with the division of India and Pakistan after independence, though there are Hindu poets who continue to write in Urdu to this day. At independence, Pakistan established a highly Persianized literary standard of Urdu as its national language. Although there have been attempts to purify Urdu and Hindi by purging them of, respectively, their Sanskrit and Persian loanwords, a new vocabulary draws primarily from Persian and Arabic for Urdu and from Sanskrit for Hindi. This has primarily affected academic and literary vocabulary, and both national standards remain heavily influenced by both Persian and Sanskrit. English has exerted a heavy influence on both as a co-official language.
Speakers and geographic distribution.
There are between 60 and 70 million native speakers of Urdu. There were 52 million in India per the 2001 census, some 6% of the population. 13 million in Pakistan in 2008, or 8%. And several 100,000 in the United Kingdom, Saudi Arabia, United States, and Bangladesh, where it is called Bihari. However, a knowledge of Urdu allows one to speak with far more people than that, as Hindi-Urdu is the 4th most commonly spoken language in the world, after Mandarin, English, and Spanish. Because of the difficulty in distinguishing between Urdu and Hindi speakers in India and Pakistan, as well as estimating the number of people for whom Urdu is a second language, the estimated number of speakers is uncertain and controversial. Owing to interaction with other languages, Urdu has become localized wherever it is spoken, including in Pakistan itself. Urdu in Pakistan has undergone changes and has lately incorporated and borrowed many words from Pakistani languages like Pashto, Punjabi, Sindhi and Balti, as well as former East Pakistan, now Bangladesh, Bengali language, thus allowing speakers of the language in Pakistan to distinguish themselves more easily and giving the language a decidedly Pakistani flavor. Similarly, the Urdu spoken in India can also be distinguished into many dialects like Dakhni, Deccan, of South India, and Karabalai of the Punjab region since recent times. Because of Urdu's similarity to Hindi, speakers of the two languages can easily understand one another if both sides refrain from using specialized vocabulary. The syntax, grammar, morphology, and the core vocabulary are essentially identical. Thus linguists usually count them as one single language and contend that they are considered as two different languages for socio-political reasons. In Pakistan, Urdu is mostly learned as a second or a third language, as nearly 93% of Pakistan's population has a mother tongue other than Urdu. Despite this, Urdu was chosen as a token of unity and as a lingua franca so as not to give any native Pakistani language preference over the other. Urdu is therefore spoken and understood by the vast majority in some form or another, including a majority of urban dwellers in such cities as Karachi, Lahore, Silkat, Rawalpindi, Islamabad, Multan, Faisalabad, Hyderabad, Peshawar, Quetta, Jhang, Sargodha and Skardu. It is written, spoken and used in all territories of Pakistan despite the fact that the people from differing provinces may have different indigenous languages, as from the fact that it is the base language of the country. For this reason, it is also taught as a compulsory subject up to higher secondary school in both English and Urdu medium school systems. This has produced millions of Urdu speakers from people whose mother tongue is one of the state languages of Pakistan such as Punjabi, Pashto, Sindhi, Balochi, Patwari, Hindko, Pahari, Saraiki, Balti, and Brahui who can read and write only Urdu. It is absorbing many words from the regional languages of Pakistan. This variation of Urdu is sometimes referred to as Pakistani Urdu. So although most of the population is conversant in Urdu, it is the first language of only an estimated 7% of the population who are mainly Muslim immigrants, known as Mughal in Pakistan, from different parts of South Asia. The regional languages are also being influenced by Urdu vocabulary. There are millions of Pakistanis whose mother tongue is not Urdu, but because they have studied in Urdu medium schools, they can read and write Urdu along with their native language. Most of the nearly 5 million Afghan refugees of different ethnic origins, such as Pashtun, Tajik, Uzbek, Hazavi, and Turkmen, who stayed in Pakistan for over 25 years have also become fluent in Urdu. With such a large number of people, speaking Urdu, the language has in recent years acquired a peculiar Pakistani flavor, further distinguishing it from the Urdu spoken by native speakers and diversifying the language even further. A great number of newspapers are published in Urdu in Pakistan, including the Daily Jang, Nawa Iwaqt, Millet, among many others. See List of newspapers in Pakistan. Urdu language newspapers. In India, Urdu is spoken in places where there are large Muslim minorities or cities which were bases for Muslim empires in the past. These include parts of Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar, Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, Marathwada, Karnataka and cities namely Lucknow, Delhi, Bareilly, Meerut, Saharanpur, Muzaffarnagar, Roorkee, Deoband, Moradabad, Azamgarh, Bisha, Najibabad, Rampur, Aligarh, Allahabad, Gorakhpur, Agra, Kanpur, Badaun, Bhopal, Hyderabad, Aurangabad, Bengaluru, Kolkata, Mysore, Patna, Gulbarga, Nanded, Malagaon, Bidar, Ajmer, and Ahmedabad. Some Indian schools teach Urdu as a first language and have their own syllabus and exams. Indian madrasas also teach Arabic as well as Urdu. India has more than 3,000 Urdu publications including 405 daily Urdu newspapers. Newspapers such as Nshot News Urdu, Sahara Urdu, Daily Sailor, Hindustan Express, Daily Pasban, Siyasat Daily, the Munsif Daily and Inquilab are published and distributed in Bengaluru, Malagaon, Mysore, Hyderabad, and Mumbai. See List of newspapers in India. Outside South Asia, it is spoken by large numbers of migrant South Asian workers in the major urban centers of the Persian Gulf countries and Saudi Arabia. Urdu is also spoken by large numbers of immigrants and their children in the major urban centers of the United Kingdom, the United States, Canada, Germany, Norway, and Australia. Along with Arabic, Urdu is among the immigrant languages with the most speakers in Catalonia, leading to fears of linguistic ghettos.
Official status.
Urdu is the national and one of the two official languages of Pakistan, along with English, and is spoken and understood throughout the country, whereas the state-by-state languages, languages spoken throughout various regions, are the provincial languages. Only 8% of Pakistanis have Urdu as their native language, but Urdu is understood all over Pakistan. It is used in education, literature, office and court business. it holds in itself a repository of the cultural and social heritage of the country. Although English is used in most elite circles, and Punjabi has a plurality of native speakers, Urdu is the lingua franca and national language in Pakistan. Urdu is also one of the officially recognized languages in India and has official language status in the Indian states of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Andhra Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir and the national capital, New Delhi. In Jammu and Kashmir, Section 145 of the Kashmir Constitution provides, "The official language of the state shall be Urdu, but the English language shall, unless the legislature by law otherwise provides, continue to be used for all the official purposes of the state for which it was being used immediately before the commencement of the Constitution." The importance of Urdu in the Muslim world is visible in the Islamic holy cities of Mecca and Medina in Saudi Arabia, where most informational signage is written in Arabic, English and Urdu, and sometimes in other languages.
Dialects.
Urdu has a few recognized dialects, including Dakhni, Rector, and modern vernacular Urdu, based on the Karabalai dialect of the Delhi region. Dakhni, also known as Deccani, Deccani, Dezia, Mughal, is spoken in Deccan region of southern India. It is distinct by its mixture of vocabulary from Marathi and Konkani, as well as some vocabulary from Arabic, Persian and Turkish that are not found in the standard dialect of Urdu. Dakhini is widely spoken in all parts of Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka. Urdu is read and written as in other parts of India. A number of daily newspapers and several monthly magazines in Urdu are published in these states. In terms of pronunciation, the easiest way to recognize a native speaker is their pronunciation of the letter qaf, q, as ki, kh. The Pakistani variant of the language becomes increasingly divergent from the Indian dialects and forms of Urdu, as it has absorbed many loan words, proverbs and phonetics from Pakistan's indigenous languages such as Pashto, Punjabi and Sindhi. Furthermore, due to the region's history, the Urdu dialect of Pakistan draws heavily from the Persian and Arabic languages, and the intonation and pronunciation are more formal compared with corresponding Indian dialects. In addition, Rector, or Rectai, the language of Urdu poetry, is sometimes counted as a separate dialect, one famously used by several poets of high acclaim in the bulk of their work. These included Nsagalib, Mir Taqi Mir and Muhammad Iqbal. Urdu spoken in Indian state of Odisha is different from Urdu spoken in other areas. It is a mixture of Oriya and Bihari.
Comparison with Modern Standard Hindi.
Standard Urdu is often contrasted with Standard Hindi. Apart from religious associations, the differences are largely restricted to the standard forms. Standard Urdu is conventionally written in the Nastaliq style of the Persian alphabet and relies heavily on Persian and Arabic as a source for technical and literary vocabulary, whereas Standard Hindi is conventionally written in Devanagari and draws on Sanskrit. However, both have large numbers of Arabic, Persian and Sanskrit words, and most linguists consider them to be two standardized forms of the same language, and consider the differences to be sociolinguistic, though a few classify them separately. Mutual intelligibility decreases in literary and specialized contexts which rely on educated vocabulary. Further, it is quite easy in a longer conversation to distinguish differences in vocabulary and pronunciation of some Urdu phonemes. Due to religious nationalism since the partition of British India and continued communal tensions, native speakers of both Hindi and Urdu frequently assert them to be distinct languages, despite the numerous similarities between the two in a colloquial setting.
Vocabulary.
Urdu has a vocabulary rich in words of Middle Eastern origins. The language's Indo-Aryan base has been enriched by borrowing from Persian and Arabic. There are also a smaller number of borrowings from Chagatai, Portuguese, and more recently English. Many of the words of Arabic origin have been adopted through Persian and have different pronunciations and nuances of meaning and usage than they do in Arabic. However, was Hindi, a language that is Urdu's sibling, as both share the same basic morphological and syntactical structure and a large vocabulary derived from Prakrit and Sanskrit. Interestingly, About 99% of Urdu verbs, just as is the case with Hindi, have their roots in Sanskrit and Prakrit, and the remaining 1% consist of the ones made up with Arabic and Persian roots. As for adjectives and nouns, Urdu favors the ones borrowed from Arabic and Persian, while Hindi has a penchant for the ones with Prakrit and Sanskrit roots, though nouns and adjectives borrowed from Arabic and Persian are quite commonly used in Hindi. Similarly, the usage of nouns and adjectives derived from Prakrit or Sanskrit is quite common in Urdu. In other words, anyone interested in undertaking a major in Urdu learning Hindi is as essential as Arabic and Persian.
Levels of formality.
Urdu in its less formalized register has been referred to as a recta, a ykhth, meaning rough mixture. The more formal register of Urdu is sometimes referred to as Zaban-i-Urdu-Yimula, Zbni-Urdu-Imlw, the language of the exalted camp, referring to the imperial army. The etymology of the word used in the Urdu language for the most part decides how polite or refined one's speech is. For example, Urdu speakers would distinguish between fnai pani and abab, both meaning water. The former is used colloquially and has older Indic origins, whereas the latter is used formally and poetically, being of Persian origin. If a word is of Persian or Arabic origin, the level of speech is considered to be more formal and grand. Similarly, if Persian or Arabic grammar constructs, such as the izafat, are used in Urdu, the level of speech is also considered more formal and grand. If a word is inherited from Sanskrit, the level of speech is considered more colloquial and personal. This distinction is similar to the division in English between words of Latin, French and Old English origins.
Politeness.
Urdu's syntax and vocabulary reflect a three-tiered system of politeness called adab. Due to its emphasis on politeness and propriety, Urdu has always been considered an elevated, somewhat aristocratic, language in South Asia. It continues to conjure a subtle, polished effect in South Asian linguistic and literary sensibilities, and thus continues to be preferred for songwriting and poetry, even by non-native speakers. Any verb can be conjugated as per 3 or 4 different tiers of politeness. For example, the verb to speak in Urdu is bolna, bwln, and the verb to sit is baithna, bytthn. The imperatives speak and sit can thus be conjugated 5 different ways, each marking subtle variation in politeness and propriety. These permutations exclude a host of auxiliary verbs and expressions which can be added to these verbs to add even greater degree of subtle variation. For extremely polite or formal situations, nearly all commonly used verbs have equivalent formal synonyms, row 5 below. Similarly, nouns are also marked for politeness and formality. For example, Uski Walida, his mother, is a politer way of saying Uski Ami. Uski Walida ye Mutama is an even more polite reference, whereas saying Uski man would be construed as derogatory. None of these forms are slang or shortenings, and all are encountered in writing. Expressions are also marked for politeness. For example, the expression no could be na, nahin, nahin ji or ji nahin in order of politeness. Similarly, yes can be han, ji, han ji or ji han in order of politeness.
Non-secular feature of Urdu.
Use of certain Urdu words is reserved for Muslims only. Shahid, shhyd, is essentially meant to be used for Muslim martyrs, and marhum, Mr. HWM, late, literally in position of mercy, is only used before Muslim names. In contrast, the word for late used within non-Muslim is anjahani, anjhny, a Persian coinage that means the deceased person belongs to the other world. If someone refers to a deceased Muslim as anjahani, that person is likely to be rebuked.
Writing system. Urdu script.
Urdu is written right to left in an extension of the Persian alphabet, which is itself an extension of the Arabic alphabet. Urdu is associated with the Nastaliq style of Persian calligraphy, whereas Arabic is generally written in the Naskh or Ruqa styles. Nastaliq is notoriously difficult to typeset, so Urdu newspapers were handwritten by masters of calligraphy, known as katib or kushnaves, until the late 1980s. One handwritten Urdu newspaper, the Musalman, is still published daily in Chennai.
Cathy Script.
Urdu was also written in the Cathy Script. A highly Persianized and technical form of Urdu was the lingua franca of the law courts of the British administration in Bengal, Bihar, and the northwest provinces and Oudh. Until the late 19th century, all proceedings and court transactions in this register of Urdu were written officially in the Persian script. In 1880, Sir Ashley Eaton, the Lieutenant Governor of Bengal, abolished the use of the Persian alphabet in the law courts of Bengal and Bihar and ordered the exclusive use of Cathy, a popular script used for both Urdu and Hindi. Cathy's association with Urdu and Hindi was ultimately eliminated by the political contest between these languages and their scripts, in which the Persian script was definitively linked to Urdu.
Devanagari script.
More recently in India, Urdu speakers have adopted Devanagari for publishing Urdu periodicals and have innovated new strategies to mark Urdu in Devanagari as distinct from Hindi and Devanagari. Such publishers have introduced new orthographic features into Devanagari for the purpose of representing the Perso-Arabic etymology of Urdu words. One example is the use of a Devanagari A, with vowel signs to mimic contexts of ain, in violation of Hindi orthographic rules. For Urdu publishers, the use of Devanagari gives them a greater audience, whereas the orthographic changes help them preserve a distinct identity of Urdu.
Roman script.
Urdu is occasionally written in the Roman script. Roman Urdu has been used since the days of the British Raj, partly as a result of the availability and low cost of Roman movable type for printing presses. The use of Roman Urdu was common in contexts such as product labels. Today it is regaining popularity among users of text messaging and Internet services and is developing its own style and conventions. Habib R. Suleimani says, Roman Urdu holds significance among the Christians of Pakistan and North India. Urdu was the dominant native language among Christians of Karachi and Lahore in present-day Pakistan and Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan in India, during the early part of the 19th and 20th century, and is still used by Christians in these places. Pakistani and Indian Christians often used the Roman script for writing Urdu. Thus Roman Urdu was a common way of writing among Pakistani and Indian Christians in these areas up to the 1960s. The Bible Society of India publishes Roman Urdu Bibles which enjoyed sale late into the 1960s, though they're still published today. Church songbooks are also common in Roman Urdu. However, the usage of Roman Urdu is declining with the wider use of Hindi and English in these states.
Udin and Begum Urdu Hindustani romanization.
Udin and Begum Urdu Hindustani romanization is another system for Hindustani. It was proposed by Syed Fauzuddin, late, and Khwaja Anissa Begum, late. As such is adopted by the First International Urdu Conference, Chicago, 1992, as the modern international standard letters of alphabet for Urdu, Hindustani, the Indian language script for the purposes of handwritten communication, dictionary references, published material and computerized linguistic communications, CLC. There are significant advantages to this transcription system. It provides a standard which is based on the original works undertaken at the Fort William College, Calcutta, India, established 1800, under John Borthwick Gilchrist, 1789–1841, which has become the de facto standard for Hindustani during the late 1800s. There is a one-to-one representation for each of the original Urdu Hindustani characters. Vowel sounds are written rather than being assumed as they are in the Urdu alphabet. Unlike Gilchrist's alphabet, which used many special non-ASCII characters, the proposed alphabet only utilizes ASCII. Because it is ASCII-based, more resources and tools are available. Liberate Urdu Hindustani language to be written and communicated utilizing all of the available standards and free us from Unicode conversion drudgery. Urdu Hindustani with this character set fully utilizes paper and electronic print media.
Differences with Persian alphabet.
The Persian alphabet has been extended for Urdu with additional letters TT, DD, RR, T, D, R. In order to make the language suitable for the people of South Asia, mainly Pakistan, two letters H, and Y, were split into two letters each, to add dimensions in use. H is used independently as any other letter in words such as HM, ham, we, and BHM, baham, mutual. As an extended use, a variant of H is used to denote uniquely defined phonetics of South Asian origin. Here it is referred as du Kazmihi, two-eyed H. Some example of the words are DHRAKHN, darken, heartbeat, BHRT, Bharat, India. Similarly, Y is used in two vowel forms, Koti yi, Y, small y, and Bara yi, Y, big Y. Small y denotes the vowel sound similar to A in the English word heat as in the word sthi, sathi, companion. Small y is also used as the Urdu semi-vowel y as in word ya, friend. Big Y gives the sound similar to A in the word late, full vowel sound, not like a diphthong, as in the word khy, k, of. However, in the written form both big Y and small y are same when the vowel falls in the middle of a word and the letters need to be joined according to the rules of Urdu grammar. Big Y is also used for the sound such as the English A as in the word apple as in the word my, me, wine. Similarly the letter W is used to denote vowel sound U similar to the word food as in LWTT, lut, loot, O similar to the word vote as in DW, do, too, and it is also used as a consonant W similar to the word war as in WZYFH, waitsefer, stipend. It is also used to represent the or sound as in the word court. As in KHWN, ko, who. W is silent in many words of Persian origin such as KHWB, dream, KHWHSH, desire. It has diminutive sound similar to U in words such as would, could as in the words KHWD, self, KHWSH, happy. The vowel accent marks, RB, mainly support the core Arabic vowels. Non-Arabic vowels such as O in more MWR, peacock, and the E as in Estonia, Istvani, are referred as MJHWL, alien ignorant phonetics, and hence are not supported by the vowel accent marks, RB. A description of these vowel marks in the word formation in Urdu can be found at the arkindia.com website.
Encoding Urdu and Unicode.
Like other writing systems derived from the Arabic script, Urdu uses the 0600-06FF Unicode range. Certain glyphs in this range appear visually similar, or identical when presented using particular fonts, even though the underlying encoding is different. This presents problems for information storage and retrieval. For example, the University of Chicago's electronic copy of John Shakespeare's A Dictionary, Hindustani, and English includes the word BHRT, India. Searching for the string BHRT returns no results, whereas querying with the identical looking in many fonts, string BHRT returns the correct entry. This is because the medial form of the Urdu letter du Kashmir U+06BE, used to form aspirate digraphs in Urdu, is visually identical in its medial form to the Arabic letter ha, U+0647. Phonetic value /h/. In Urdu, the /h/ phoneme is represented by the character U+06C1, called gol he, round he, or chhoti he, small he. In 2003, the Center for Research in Urdu Language Processing, CRULP, a research organization affiliated with Pakistan's National University of Computer and Emerging Sciences, produced a proposal for mapping from the 1-byte UZT encoding of Urdu characters to the Unicode standard. This proposal suggests a preferred Unicode glyph for each character in the Urdu alphabet.
Sample text.
The following is a sample text in Urdu, of the Article 1 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, by the United Nations.
Translation grammatical.
Note: S. represents a possessive case which when written is preceded by the possessor and followed by the possessed, unlike the English of.
Literature.
Urdu has become a literary language only in recent centuries, as Persian was formerly the idiom of choice for the Muslim courts of North India. However, despite its relatively late development, Urdu literature boasts of some world-recognized artists and a considerable corpus.
Prose. Religious.
Urdu holds the largest collection of works on Islamic literature and Sharia. These include translations and interpretation of the Quran as well as commentary on hadith, fiqh, history, spirituality, Sufism and metaphysics. A great number of classical texts from Arabic and Persian have also been translated into Urdu. Relatively inexpensive publishing, combined with the use of Urdu as a lingua franca among Muslims of South Asia, has meant that Islam-related works in Urdu far outnumber such works in any other South Asian language. Popular Islamic books are also written in Urdu. It is interesting to note that a treatise on astrology was penned in Urdu by Pandit Rup Chand Joshi in the 18th century. The book, known as Lal Kitab, is widely popular in North India among astrologers and was written at a time when Urdu was very much spoken in the Brahmin families of that region.
Literary.
Secular prose includes all categories of widely known fiction and non-fiction work, separable into genres. The dastan, or tale, a traditional story which may have many characters and complex plotting. This has now fallen into disuse. The afsana or short story is probably the best-known genre of Urdu fiction. The best-known afsana writers, or afsana nigar, in Urdu are Munshi Premchand, Saadat Hasan Manto, Rajinder Singh Bedi, Krishan Chandra, Karajulain Haidar, Karat-ulain Haidar, Azmat Tai, Ulam Abbas, and Ahmad Nadim Qasimi. Towards the end of last century Payam Fakir's novel Makan appeared with a reviving force for Urdu novel, resulting into writing of novels getting a boost in Urdu literature, and a number of writers like Ghazanfar, Abdus Samad, Zawak Khan and Musharraf Alam Zorki have taken the move forward. Munshi Premchand became known as a pioneer in the afsana, though some contend that his were not technically the first, as Saros Masood had already written many short stories in Urdu. Novels form a genre of their own, in the tradition of the English novel. Other genres include Safarnama, travel story, Mazmoon, essay, Sarguzisht, account narrative, Inshair, satirical essay, Murasla, editorial, and Kudnavisht, autobiography.
Poetry.
Urdu has been one of the premier languages of poetry in South Asia for 2 centuries, and has developed a rich tradition in a variety of poetic genres. The ghazal in Urdu represents the most popular form of subjective music and poetry, whereas the nazm exemplifies the objective kind, often reserved for narrative, descriptive, didactic or satirical purposes. Under the broad head of the nazm we may also include the classical forms of poems known by specific names such as Masnavi, a long narrative poem in rhyming couplets on any theme, romantic, religious, or didactic, Marja, an elegy traditionally meant to commemorate the martyrdom of Hazrat Husayn ibn Ali, grandson of Muhammad, and his comrades of the Karbala fame, or Qasida, a panegyric written in praise of a king or a nobleman, for all these poems have a single presiding subject, logically developed and concluded. However, these poetic species have an old world aura about their subject and style, and are different from the modern nazm, supposed to have come into vogue in the later part of the 19th century. Probably the most widely recited, and memorized genre of contemporary Urdu poetry is Nat, panegyric poetry written in praise of the Prophet Muhammad. Nat can be of any formal category, but is most commonly in the ghazal form. The language used in Urdu Nat ranges from the intensely colloquial to a highly versified formal language. The great early 20th century scholar Ala Hazrat, Imam Ahmed Reza Khan Barelvi, who wrote many of the most well-known Nats in Urdu, the collection of his poetic work is Hadaiq-e-Bakshish, epitomized this range in a ghazal of 9 stanzas, Bait, in which every stanza contains half a line each of Arabic, Persian, formal Urdu, and colloquial Hindi. Another important genre of Urdu prose are the poems commemorating the martyrdom of Husayn ibn Ali, R.A., at the Battle of Karbala, called Noha, Nwhh, and Marja. Anas and Daber are famous in this regard.
Terminology.
Asha, Shah, verse, couplets. It consists of two hemistiches, lines, called misra, MSR. First hemistic, line, is called MSRIWL, Misra Iula, and the second is called MSRITHNY, Misra Isani. Each verse embodies a single thought or subject, singular, she or sha. In the Urdu poetic tradition, most poets use a pen name called the takholis. This can be either a part of a poet's given name or something else adopted as an identity. The traditional convention in identifying Urdu poets is to mention the takholis at the end of the name. Thus Glib, whose official name and title was Mtsiasajala Beg Khan, is referred to formally as Mtsiasajala Khan Glib, or in common parlance as just Mtsa Glib. Because the takholis can be a part of their actual name, some poets end up having that part of their name repeated, such as Faiz Ahmad Faiz. The word takholis is derived from Arabic, meaning ending. This is because in the ghazal form, the poet would usually incorporate his or her pen name into the final couplet, maqta of each poem as a type of signature.
Urdu poetry example.
This is Glib's famous couplet in which he compares himself to his great predecessor, the master poet Mir.
Translation. Software.
The Daily Jang was the first Urdu newspaper to be typeset digitally and Nastaliq by computer. There are efforts underway to develop more sophisticated and user-friendly Urdu support on computers and the Internet. Nowadays, nearly all Urdu newspapers, magazines, journals, and periodicals are composed on computers via various Urdu software programs, the most widespread of which is In-Page desktop publishing package. Microsoft has included Urdu language support in all new versions of Windows, and both Windows Vista and Microsoft Office 2007 are available in Urdu through Language Interface Pack support. Most Linux desktop distributions allow the easy installation of Urdu support and translations as